Bad Macro Flipbird, the hardest name to say in the game, versus Freelo Hunters. And I believe that's Sanji that anchors that squad here, as they're going to square off. Sanji, a prolific streamer, I believe a Lucario player, performs very, very well. And we're going to, we just got noticed we have a little bit of time to fill, so let's go ahead and fill it. Bad Macro Flipbird looked very good in their matchup. Sanji is no slouch, and I know they've been working with their team quite a bit. You're familiar with Sanji, Lucario in the top lane. No tricks, no pulled punches. They're going to do some work. What do you want to see out of that Lucario? Is it an easy peel or an early peel down to Dreadnought? Is it hanging out for Rotom? What do you think they can do to put a little bit of onus back on Bad Macro Flipbird?
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of Lucario. He's such a flexible character, decent mobility to get down bot if you feel a 5-on-5 is necessary. If you're left to your own devices, why not just engage Rotom on your own? Why not just score some buckets, whatever you have remaining? If you get left to yourself, that's fine too. You can always catch up on levels because you just have such good survivability as Lucario. It's just such an incredible character, really. So you play it by ear with Lucario. You can do whatever you want with it. If you want to double up top, even just some early KOs with your jungler, that's open to you. You can play it however you want to. But I'm really excited to get into this game because we have the second and third seed, really. So these, if anyone, could be the challenger to TTV.
Absolutely. Bad Macro is up one game here as the Sanji anchored Freelo Hunters on the other side are going to try and even things up. Gek, Fire Truck, and Slash Can, all names we've seen before, Joe, and they are putting some pressure on here, putting some pressure early as Bruv, Snow Points, and Chris Heroes playing the same Pokemon as the last time we've seen them on screen. Bruv, very, very good with those barriers here, isolating out that Audino, as I'm not too sure who took it, but they definitely stood their own in the pocket there as they were getting pressure from both Fire Truck and the opposing Mr. Mime. Chris Heroes throwing some leafing around, some leaves. It's fall. Makes sense. Snow Points. Chris Heroes on the retreat here. 9:05 on the clock. Talk to me a little better. What are we seeing here?
Well, I'm seeing another Zeraora. Didn't think I'd see it again, but here we are. This time it's jungling, though. It's not in place of Lucario. So I don't mind seeing this at all. It's decent early, and it's got an okay matchup against Cinderace. So we're going to see how that interaction goes on top lane, as that's where the action is right now. Mopping up some bees, and we're seeing aggressive Zeraora play. Gosu shutting that down early with that Rabu evolution coming in pretty early. As we're back down bot side here, seeing a mirror match between these characters. So right now, a small level advantage for Flipbirds, but nothing too insane here. Bruv has been impressive with Mr. Mime so far this tournament. We'll see if it can be matched by Freelo Hunters players here.
Yeah, you can't get too much of a character advantage here in the bottom lane. So now it's all about mitigating your own mistakes and capitalizing on your opponents. And it's going to come down to who does that best. Now, of course, the wild card in this equation is that Zeraora, as you mentioned, and how Bolby is going to play it and how they're going to use it to impact the game. Is it going to be sandbagging in the grass and then jumping on in the late half of a team fight to try and discharge down some Pokemon that have taken some damage? Or is it going to be leading the charge in with the discharge to see who is on the ropes and then identifying the weakest link that way? Interested to see here with 40 seconds left before Dreadnought.
Absolutely is, and we are seeing right now just a mobilization down that bot lane as we are sticking to the action here. Cinderace finally evolved up in that crucial level 7 at the right time, so can start pressurizing as they seem to be wrapping down at least for some farm here, whilst continuing to pressurize early on. So yeah, really good stuff from them. They've managed to get a good piece of the action as we see the bees get mowed down within seconds. We'll see how people want to react to the first objectives of this game.
Yeah, we have 10 seconds till Dreadnought, but I'm going to point out real quick. We have a Gossifleur, and Slashcan just became an Ivysaur. They've been behind on levels, and I talk about capitalizing on mistakes, and they have been being bullied because they are under-leveled, and they've had some of their free farm poached. Gek is level 6. They're going to try and bring a little bit of parity here by leading the team. And there's Zero Aura jumping in, jumping out, getting a little bit of that chip AoE damage in. Gosu, easy peasy, level 8 is going to anchor this effort to try and mow down Dreadnought. Of course, the words come out of my mouth and they dip out, but Snowpoint's going to come in on Slash Can, and now they're going to bubble the opposing team out as Gosu does come back and is going to start working on this Dreadnought a little more. Bolby with the discharge, darting in, darting out. Bruv going to try and isolate out the orange team here and keep them from being able to get into Dreadnought and get into Cinderace's face. Slash Can making a push. Chris Hero's all over him. Gosu coming in, and it's a scramble for the last one as Bruv is able to take a KO on Zero Aura, and finally Snowpoints, the Eldegoss, taking that last hit, taking that Dreadnought, and now it's all about this goal zone, using those shields from Dreadnought and that experience to avalanche your advantage here and get that goal zone within breaking point, and it is 10 points away.
Yeah, Rob doing a great job there, pushing people off the objective, allowing Bad Macro to just chip away with the Ivysaur, with the Cinderace, without too much pressure coming their way. TEDx has been able to keep the top in check as well, pretty nicely here, looking for some support from Snowpoints, who's coming to give it to him, and keeping Sanji on his toes as well, who's peeling out into their own jungle. So very solid play from them. Rotom hasn't been touched just yet. We'll see if anyone else wants to come and join the action. Cinderace making his way back through that jungle. Ivysaur making his way to top as well, possibly to come and help out.
Yeah, a lot of Aeos energy just kind of sitting on the board here. And after Bad Macro just emptied their pockets, might be time to fill them back up. Dexter is sitting at a clean 40 as finally the Rotom has been started. Leading the charges, Bolby, that Zero Aura kind of getting it down to half HP. And that's 4 players here from Orange. Going to put the pressure on, going to isolate out that Lucario, and going to work through Rotom and burn it down as Snowpoints is sitting in the goal zone trying to work. Bruv getting caught, forced to Unite move. They do, and are they able to capitalize and get a KO or at least keep that goal zone up? They are not. The Avalanche is rolling in too strong here off the back of Sanji, putting some pressure on isolating Snowpoints and now putting the pressure on Bruv. Gosu, though, not to be without their final word, is coming in to get some damage in, and finally Bruv cleans up the Lucario with the help of Snowpoints and a KO there. 15 seconds till the next Dreadnought.
Yeah, really good commitment from Freelo. They made it count. They sent it down the lane, and they're slightly ahead on the points as well. Very close game so far. Really enjoying seeing this as we see a ton of Vespies get mopped up straight away, and now the focus is entirely on this Dread. Going to be engaged straight away by Cinderace, and we'll see if anyone else can get involved in the action, as there's a ton of action coming in.
Unite move from the Mr. Mime, the opposing Mr. Mime, and now everybody's working on Dreadnought, but Orange does have the position advantage here, and they do take it. The Mr. Mime seals it up. Now that's a scramble there as they just mow through the team. 4 down, and the only one that doesn't go down is Dexter because they were hanging out up top, and they're probably clicking around. Boop, 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 boop. They look down and go, everyone's gone. What happened? As you just saw them stop on the screen and not move for a moment as their cat just registering that. Sanji finally taken down after they get the first goal zone down and a couple points into that second level goal zone, and Gosu's just back to farming, and it's up to the Orange team to keep these levels at parity. They got the Dreadnought, they got a bunch of KOs, they squared up on that form of the game, and now they're ahead on points too. Bad Macro Flipbirds are in fact on the back foot.
Yeah, absolutely are. And man, that showtime is exactly what we saw from the Mr. Mime Unite move. Absolutely insane. Big push in the middle here, getting them off of that middle area so they can be the ones defending if they really need to, because Zapdos will be a priority for them with the amount of points behind they are. Big Unite move coming the other way now from Bruv, trying to stay alive in here, but is going to get a knock back by the other barrier coming in. Doing some good work in there, a lot of pressure coming in. We are seeing Ted try and deal with the Rotom ASAP. Same thing for the Venusaur. Can it get stolen here? No, it does get taken by Bad Macro. That's a really, really key objective here if they are going to swing the tide of this game.
Yeah, Ice taking notice that Rotom is just going to close out that goal zone without any points going in. Everybody backs off. Literally, both teams said it's not worth arguing over this 18-point or this 2-point overdunk. So let's try and get to some other goal zones. 42 banger to close that out. That's a 40-point overcap, Joe, and that's exactly what you're looking for. Now we're looking at the objectives on the screen. 9 seconds before Zapdos. That's 10 seconds to Dreadnought. That means no time on that. We have to focus on the big chunk bird in the middle, and that's Dexter getting their positioning in. Oh, bad macro Flipbird's coming in, getting an idea of where they need to be. Venusaur's a little caught behind. Chris Hero's sandbagging themselves a little bit, coming to the party a little late. Snow Point's bubbling out with Gosu easy peasy, as it looks like they're going to try and enter the center zone from the bottom, and Dexter rolling down to meet them. But you saw very quickly that Gosu has no problem kicking off the Zapdos, because if the team isn't showing up, then let's get the work done. Bruv coming in, and we saw Fire Truck poke their cotton ball head around the corner, and finally Gecko Kami uses their Unite move, and I don't know if they're going to be able to take anybody down with it, but those Butter Barriers sure are going to make a difference, as Gosu's coming in, and they're going to try and leverage that level 14, and they're just going to kick some fireballs in there. Lucario goes down, Sanji goes down, and now they're isolating out, but that's 2 on the backside for Bad Macro go down, and here we see everybody's just landsliding. That's 3 KOs on Bad Macro. Gecko Kami's making a race for the goal zone, and now TE, Dexter, and Snow Points are rolling up, but guess who's already there? The Zero is already working on it. Dexter coming in with Slash Can as they're trying to mow down the Zapdos before that can be swung the other way, but Dexter lifting up and getting that Zero pushed out. Slash Can Slash Can gets the KO, and now Gosu comes in, but Slash Can almost went like AFK for a second there and stopped moving. And now Gosu's working on this Zapdos that's 2/3 of the way down, halfway down. And Sanji's coming in, and they're going to try and make a play. Gecko Kami with a big confusion barrier. Mr. Fire Truck chipping in. Who's going to take it? It's going to be a coin flip. We're watching. Oh, Freelo Hunters take it. Now it's a landslide the other way. Sanji's on the back of Slash Can. Slash Can pressuring out Snow Points, and Snow Points going to make for a back cap, but look at all those 50s raining down in the middle. Holy smokes, they concede. Freelo Hunters putting the screws to Bad Macro Flipbirds. We're going to a game 3.
Oh, we absolutely are, and I don't think Freelo Hunters were particularly happy with the fact that it went to a coin flip, but it went their way. I think in those later stages, they were ahead, and I think they mobilized better around that Zapdos pit. I feel like some good Unite moves being spent there. KO's traded. Lucario's going down, Cinderace going down, a ton of DPS, so Zapdos couldn't be cleaned up by the remaining characters. It was just the likes of Eldegoss from both sides and Venusaur that could only chip at the Zapdos, not getting it until much, much later on. But when they remobilized, Freelo Hunters were very, very effective. They got characters in the right area, Mr. Mime pushing people out, barring away from that Zapdos, and it did mean that they could clutch it out, and in the end got a ton of points in at the late game.
I mean, that was a ride. That was just a ride from start to finish, Joe. Holy smokes. I mean, I don't think as a caster, in a game I actually want to watch, I don't think I could have drawn up the last 4 minutes of that game any better. That was a ride from the 4 KOs, and the only reason Dexter didn't go down is because they were just chilling on the opposite side of the map, to that flurry at the end where it was 1 down, 2 down, 2 down, 3 down, 3 down, and then like you said, it was like 2 Eldegoss and a Venusaur, like, oh, like let's just do our best. Grass types, baby, get after it. And finally the Zero Aura being able to jump back in and be the difference there. I mean, that was a ride from top to bottom. But what does that mean? Game 3 is on the horizon. Bad Macro, Freelo Hunters. Joe, what can Bad Macro do to change that bad macro to great macro and get themselves a match win?
I mean, how do you analyze those last 2 minutes? It was a smash and grab from both teams, really. So, yeah, I just think they both have to try and get themselves into better situations before it devolves into those last 2 minutes of chaos, really. I don't think either team, even the Freelo Hunters, even winning that game, couldn't have felt great. I mean, it's a fist bump moment, but you're sweating it out, and you didn't really know how you won the game. So strategically, I don't think there's much that you can bring to this game 3. You just have to hope that you can fight it out in those last team fights and those last scraps, if you can bring it down to those moments.
One thing I want to bring up, and anti-shout out to surranwrap in the booth here, because he loves Zero Aura so much. But I feel like that could have been any other character, and they might have been able to get a little bit more of an advantage there, because every time we saw Zero Aura, it jumped in, discharge, and it was just removed from the face of the earth and sent back to spawn point. So I'm curious to see if they stick with it. They do, as we're going in for game 3 action. Bad Macro Flipbirds versus Freelo Hunters. A Sanji anchored team that's been very strong. We've seen them running around and kind of running roughshod through these tournaments as they are working together on their new teams and strategies. And Bad Macro Flipbirds not laid out of the gates either, as Zoinks mentioned earlier, they're in their honeymoon period and kind of been on a hot streak of winning tournaments, but it didn't look like they could sustain that hot streak in that game too. So Joe, talk to me a little bit here.
Yeah, really happy to see Sanji, TTV here, who is making that push at the top. I do always enjoy seeing some Lucario action, and especially seeing some high-level play from both these Lucarios. But we are going to switch it down bot again. It's a mirror down that bot lane. It's only really the junglers that are making the difference known here. So a good fight for experiences. People are dotted all over the map in this early game.
They're just going back and forth here. And I'm going to use the same analogy I use every time, Joe. Just two bullies in the schoolyard, puffing chests, bumping into each other, but there is no action happening. The Slashcan, Gek, and Gossifleur all level 3. Now, that's better than they were doing last time because if you recall, Slashcan and Fire Truck evolved much later than their counterparts across the lane. And as I'm trying to keep a good track of what's going on here, it's going to be interesting to see if they can keep up, and if they do, how they can leverage that. As we're waiting for bees, and they're here, and it's just going to be, like you said, a smash and grab to see who gets what. We pop back upstairs for those bees as Sanji and Bulby are working through Dexter, and Gosu pulls up for the assist. Bulby pressuring, but they're getting mowed down pretty quickly. Sanji isolating Gosu and goes in for the hit here, and Sanji forced to retreat a little bit, suffering from a little bit of burn as Bulby grabs a berry and comes back. Gecko, Kami, Slashcan, and Fire Truck hitting that Eldegoss early, and that's what you want to see as they're now pressuring into the opposing. Look at those walls just all shot up, confusion blasts going everywhere. All right, let's try for this one. It's almost like rolling the dice. All right, next. See if we can flip it. And Bulby going back through the middle here. Slashcan, Gek, and Fire Truck moving much more cohesively in this game 3 than in game 2.
Yeah, Bulby in his opponent's jungle here, trying to steal some XP away from Raboot. That we'll see how that interaction goes, and if he can get away with that. And they are going to be engaging each other here. Really nice aggression from Bulby, but the rest of the team are coming to help out, so he does have to disengage, get himself out of there. But he's not going to get punished too much for trying to yoink there, although he has run back into a bit of a problem and does indeed get KO'd. He had the chance there to get out, but in the end was tracked down. It did mean that the rest of his team could go score down bot lane, so it wasn't completely in vain, and was able to steal some experience for himself. But does have to get back into the action now, as he's slightly underleveled compared to the other jungler, who is already a Cinderace.
Yeah, 720B is going to be an inflection point here to see where these levels shake out. And you know what? Maybe that's Zeraora just taking the express train back to the respawn point. Said dying's faster than running back, and my team needs me downstairs. So, who knows? It allowed them to get some points in, and now Orange is moving as a 5-person unit here. The wall's up, but Dreadnought is here 7 minutes, and the turtle has arrived. So Sanji is putting pressure, Slashcan and Fire Trucker going in. Dex is leading the charge, not engaging, maybe waiting to do like a power-up punch or a couple of E-speeds through to take that down. That Dreadnought's sitting at half HP. Maybe now they're just kind of leashing it a little bit so it doesn't respawn itself. Oh my, good Lord. That is a huge takedown. I believe it's Bruv, the Mr. Mime, that ended up taking that Dreadnought there, and a bunch of KOs on Orange as they are all sent back to the Shadow Realm and populate back in the respawn point as they're rolling upstairs and trying to make a play on this Rotom. That's a KO streak of 3 for Gosu, easy peasy. And we just know that Cinderace at level 10 already. That's going to be huge, and now they're going to have a huge impact on this game as well.
Freelo doing a great job of getting straight back into that action and trying to steal the Rotom at the very least. So they have been able to do that very effectively. Now they're dispersing once again, leaving the Rotom as a distraction right now. So they can, again, try and close out that level disparity. As you say, you can't get involved in a team fight if there's a level 11 Cinderace. It's just not going to work out great for you. So get back to your own farm, try and close that gap that little bit more. While Cinderace is distracted dealing with Rotom, it does finally get dealt with. And we are seeing Fire Truck in the jungle now, trying to work their way down bot lane and take a Corphish on a ride. Sanji has made his way down here as well to try and get a piece of these bees, but there's a ton of action and contest for it here.
I mean, these levels are awful. Their jungler for Freelo is level 9. Everybody else is 8. The lowest on bad macro is the Eldegoss at 8, and everyone else is 9 or above. And when you have that kind of experience advantage, you just have to pressure it as much as possible. I mean, they have to babysit Dexter up top with 2 Pokemon, which is leaving just Gosu to wreak havoc in the middle. And there's the Zeraora jumping in. and Sanji jumping in and getting melted as all of Orange is just forced to hang out on their own goal zone and try and make a play on this Dreadnought to drag themselves up back into these levels.
Yeah, it does look to be that's what they're immobilizing for. Looks like there's a Venusaur trying to get some free points in up top. There's also Lucario up there as well, but they're not really being able to touch the Dread at all. It's so far away from them, and it's being chipped away so easily by the likes of Cinderace, and also we see Unite moves coming in galore here, and they're making a huge sweep up this bottom lane. Some big KOs again. It's just another team wipe essentially.
I mean, it's absolutely nasty. Chris Hero's Unite move, that's 1 KO on Zero Aura, right? That's their big DPS point. That's their jungler. That's who they're hoping is going to carry him through this. Well, when it's the first one down, as you said, the first domino to fall knocks down all the others, and we saw 3 ultimately in quick succession go down. Gek also on the receiving end of that, and now it's all about farming. I mean, they're down by almost 200. There's less than 4 minutes left in the game. They haven't taken either Dreadnought. They did manage to no, they gave up on Rotom the first time. I mean, they've kind of just been pushed all over this map, and they are kind of losing on every axis of this game. So I don't know what Freelo Hunters need to do, but it's the opposite of whatever strategy they pulled up with in Game 3.
Yeah, there's just not enough experience on the board for them to try and make a catch-up play at this point. Too many objectives have gone the way of bad macro flip birds, and they really have pushed those team fights and just made it just all too easy for them. As we are seeing the team come down bot lane and try and make their presence known, all of the team, whilst Lucario gets the free Rotom and sends it at the top side. At least they can destroy a goal zone here themselves and try and make a bit of a push. But yeah, we see a big couple KOs for Freelo Hunters on bad macro, but really it's at a time that's not too much of a disadvantage because there's still plenty for them to re-establish themselves for Dreadnought, for Zapdos. So not a big problem here. The Rotom was sent, but no one's anywhere near to try and capitalize for these last 10 seconds. That's why we see Slashcan trying to defend here, just in case anyone wants to get fruity with some free points, as it looks like Mr. Mime's trying to do exactly that.
I mean, Bruv maybe just getting some vision. I mean, at this point, you said, they were able to take 3 KOs. They were able to close out that goal zone, but in I don't want to say a non-important point in the match, but one that's kind of in the ether, right? Between objectives, between what you're working on. I mean, there's still some farm on the field. It was a good time to get to give up 3 KOs. And I mean, I as I'm speaking, they already take Dreadnought, and Bolby trying to get 50 points, and then Bruv just able to just hit a confusion and send them packing here. 2 minutes, 13 seconds left on the clock, and we're going to warm up for a Zapdos fight, because if you're a Freelo Hunters, you got to know that's your only way out.
Yeah, Cinderace making his way into the middle. Looks like there's also Lucario in there as well. Mr. Mime trying to sit through the middle and just put those barriers up, give them a long way around, as they are having to peel down bot side here. Getting attacked, Venusaur getting smashed as well. Not safe in that grass at all. And they are trying to sort of stick together here, but they aren't able to engage at all.
Yeah, I mean... They need to engage. They need to do something. Yep. And Slashcan getting bullied a little bit by Dexter up top. That's Unite move by Bolby getting chased down. And I don't know who on bad macro. There we go. That's another Unite move from Mr. Mime. Those 2 Mr. Mime Unites as this fight is breaking out in the bottom. But everybody's getting chased. Fire Truck is getting chased. They're going to try and use this Unite move to some impact, but they didn't heal anybody and didn't really deal a ton of damage. Sanji's stuck in the middle. They're getting mowed down here as the Zero Aura already down. I've said that before. They were down 3.5 minutes ago or whatever. And now Slashcan goes down. There's 2 down as Zero Aura finally comes off the respawn. Gecko Nami getting chased as Fire Truck comes up, and they're looking at Zapdos like, hey, where are my friends at? Gek making it back to their goal zone. Bolby making some short work of Chris Heroes, but goes down, and that's the first KO they've been able to take in this Zapdos phase of the game. As Gek comes in, hits the grass. That's a wall from Bruv going up. Gek getting bubbled out. Sanji has to take the long way. And now they're just chipping into some more mobs here, as nobody has really been able to make it even close to Zapdos. Cinderace takes 2 KOs there on Eldegoss and Zero Aura. Slashcan doesn't even seem interested in playing anymore, as Gosu is just chipping some fiery soccer balls into the mix. Slashcan getting in there. Sanji following suit. Are they going to be able to finally put the pressure on? Because they've been split everywhere. They've been trying to back cap. But nobody's been moving to Zapdos. Slash Can going to try and pad those stats here on Snow Points and going to chase them down. Bulby wants a KO on Gosu, who's been picking on him all game long. And Bulby going to see if they can do it, or is Gosu going to close the door? A discharge finally locks it down, but that's no real points having gone in. Oh, that 92 though. I think they're down. Was that 92 and 88? No.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't see the score before those two rolled in, and I was going to say, holy smokes.
Not enough.
You kidding?
No. We're not getting a throw there at all.
Good night.
Bad Macro were completely fine in that late game, giving them the token points, I guess, just to make them feel better about what's just happened to them for that entire 10 minutes. I think that was real good control. I mean, Mr. Mime sat in middle and just almost feeling like that Snorlax, where you just throw those barriers up. You go in mid, here's a barrier. You're trying to peel top, we're going barrier. You're getting nowhere near that Zapdos. So yeah, really clean play. And as you said, they were sort of mobilizing, but weren't able to ever like represent a team fight. They spent Unite moves on 1 and 2 characters because they were well split. Bad Macro Flipbirds. They weren't piling up all into one spot to just lose one fight. They were keeping themselves spread. The Lucario was sort of engaging and getting out of there when need be as well. So just being annoying and sort of sticking around so that they were running down that clock for Zapdos. They never had to engage it. They just had to be ever present, and that's exactly what they were in those last few minutes.
Well, Freelo Hunters, that ride was about as comfortable as sitting in the back of a pickup truck going down on a potholed road. So that was uncomfy for all of us here in the booth and at home. Let's send it back to the analyst desk. We'll get a little bit of word on that match and maybe frame us up for what we've got coming up next. Over to you.
Welcome back here into the booth, and a great match we did just see from Bad Macro. Great game 3 control as well. 7, let's take us away there. What did you see in that match that kind of just, led to 7 just getting that game 3 win and moving them on to the next
winners finals next? Yeah,
winners finals.
Finals. Yeah,
we're making some progress in this tournament. Wow. Honestly, that was a very, very hard fought match by both teams. Honestly, that's what really good Unite looks like to me. Like it's a close match, and with the Zapdos implementation, anyone can win in the last 2 minutes. That's part of what makes this game so thrilling to watch, because you always know Zapdos is going to spawn eventually, and if the team that's losing takes it, they could win. Like, it's very possible.
It's true.
For me, it was really the Cinderace. Like, Cinderace has just been dominating matchup after matchup after matchup. I think we've seen it probably the past hour. Every Cinderace has just kind of done really well and been levels ahead and just kind of doing whatever they wanted. It didn't really matter what the enemy team really did. That's my major thing that I've been seeing trend-wise is Cinderace is kind of a must-pick for me at this point, at the high-level play at least.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I think Cinderace is probably the best jungle pick in the game. But I actually want to say the Cinderace was definitely the cornerstone in this entire game. I think it definitely led them to the Game 3 win, but I think in a more interesting note, it actually led to their Game 2 loss. When I was watching that Game 2, what I saw from the opposing team when they had that Zero and Sanji was on that Lucario, their ability to win was that they were able to dive and eliminate Gosu on that Cinderace to start so many fights, despite a 2-level gap on their jungler. We only had a level 9 on that Zera, but they were still able to dive in and spike that main damage cannon that was giving Bad Macro such an incredible weapon in the backline. They eliminated that and was able to take that second game, even around a very hectic Zap fight when Zapdos was actually going down. 3 members of Bad Macro Flipbird were already eliminated. So a coin flip with a few different sides to help them out for sure. But that Game 3 as well was just Chris Heroes and Bruv and Snow Points got the message. Gosu sent up the bat signal and said, I need these guys to stop diving me. I need you to peel just a little bit. And that was exactly what they did. Snow Points was saving that Leaf Tornado to blind either Sanji or the Zera as soon as they're diving in on Gosu. And then not to mention Big Brain Bruv is throwing up these barriers, stunning them out of position. It was a really incredible thing to see. But I do think protecting that Cinderace, giving Gosu the amount of breathing room he needs to be able to deal out that lethal damage is what happened. And they couldn't kill him. They couldn't KO on that Cinderace the same way that they were doing in the rest of the game. It was really cool to watch. It was an amazing adaptation from Bad Macro. Despite their name, they had it all up here for sure.
I really did enjoy like seeing the defenders throughout the tournament so far, making those big plays. We saw in earlier rounds of Snorlax being able to put up the block to push out objectives. And just like a game 3, like you mentioned, Bruv putting up the barriers just at the right corners, almost like foresighting where they're going to try to attack from, putting the barrier in the bot lane, right, to start to zap those. Then sure enough, once a couple were KO, putting them right on the right side for the only entrance here. It looks like we're about to get kind of set up for a match. We can maybe go to a wait screen for a little bit while that gets set up, and then we'll come back with you for the winners finals between TTV and Bad Macro.